All right, so we're on part 13 of this. And what we want to do now is we want to work on the powers. Okay. So we've got our heroes kind of set up. Obviously, there's a lot more that we can do to this. Okay. Um, but I like to take steps at a time, kind of grow as we build, and want to have something solid before we try to add many more gadgets and features. Okay, so let's see. What we're going to do now is let's create uh, a all power.ejs and a power single.ejs. They're both going to go inside of your pages folder. So if you want to do that right here in Visual Studio Code, go right ahead and do that. You know how I roll by now. I'm going to do that here inside the terminal. So I'm going to say touch. It's going to be views pages slash all power.ejs and views slash pages slash power single.ejs. All right. So I've got those built. Okay, they're right here. I'm going to go ahead and set up both of those pages. So include, just like we did with the hero page, we just include the header and footer. So nothing is different here. So you should, at this point, begin to get really familiar with what goes where. And you should also develop some kind of muscle memory with your fingers to know where different things go, or what to type rather. Also, I know if a lot of us are so used to being, on a computer via the smartphone. It's a good idea if you're not like really accustomed to typing to take some time finding some online typing challenges to improve on your typing skills. Uh, yeah, I would strongly recommend that to kind of help speed you up. I've been told that I type fast, and that may be kind of true. Back in high school, when we had to take typing as a course, had the old school typewriters that had a slide or whatever, and every single day of the class, I would always finish third. There's this one guy, he would always finish first. And then there were these two girls. I would either one of them would finish before me, but I'd finish before the other every single day. I mean, every single day. And it was just typing nonstop, type, different patterns of letters and different words, just having to do that. And, that was 30 years ago. But, I still got it. So, uh, literally and figuratively. So, so yeah, and work on your typing if you need to. Um, anyways, all right, I got my all power page set up. Let me do my power single as well. I'm gonna do the same thing here. I want to shout out to one of my code links who showed me how to get rid of that Copilot mess. I'm not going to say mess because, the people at Visual Studio who built this editor, they do a really good job. I would definitely say that their editors are superior to other ones. But I'm not with that, not with AI just yet. Nah. I've made up my mind. Power single. All right, so I got those two. I have a basic structure there. Just, again, I want to have it like this so then I can go work on my routers and I make sure everything connects properly. Okay, that's what I want to do. So now that I got that, I'm going to go over here to router. And so I got my home page, got my hero page here. Gonna work on my powers. Okay. And it's essentially the same thing. What I'm going to do is, much like I did here for my hero page, say router.get, path is going to be power, or I can say powers, because I said heroes. Yeah, so let me just say powers right here. Takes a request and a response. And what we're going to do is we're going to make a fetch call. So axios.get http http:// localhost 3000 / API / power. So you can see I'm doing this different ways to show you that there's no one way of, dropping in your URL. I can, store the URL inside of a constant, like we did here. Here, I could do that, or I could just type in the URL but use string template literals to pass in, the particular port. I can do that like so, or I could just type it like so. There's multiple ways of doing it. There's no one right way. There's a way. Then I want to take the response, and even with this, you can see how I chain it. I prefer to tab it over like so, but sometimes you may not need to do that. Also, I could just do it all on one line. I can chain my promises together like so, or I don't need to indent. There's different ways of handling this. You choose what you feel most comfortable with. I myself prefer to indent, but I'm showing you that you can do it in different ways. You find a way that works for you. Okay. All right. So we're going to take the response, and then what are we going to do? We're going to response.render. What are we going to render? We're going to render pages / all power. And we're going to say the title is going to be, I'll say powers. The name, I'll say all the powers, all of the powers. And the data is going to be response.data. And this is going to be the same essentially, because when Axios delivers the data, it sends it as data. That's the name that Axios gives it. So whenever we want to access it, that's the property data. Okay, as a property from the response. I don't know if we've looked at if we've consoled the whole response. We could do that right now real quick. I'm gonna console.log response. I'm not sure if we did. I can't remember, so many videos we've been doing. Okay, so I've got my render set up. Okay. And the route is /powers, or that's the path. Okay, so now what I need to do is I'm going to come back over here to my header.ejs, and here I'm just going to add a new link. I'm just going to copy this link, right? Work smart, not hard. Paste it right here and change this to powers, and then change this here to powers. Cool. Now let's refresh the browser. There I see powers. I click on powers. There's all the powers. It's set up looking cool. Let's see what happens with my response. And here we can see we console the response. And so there you see my status, which is 200, which means it's good. We got a good connection. Sometimes if you need to do some troubleshooting and you want to see, maybe something's not displaying, you can console.log response.status and it'll give you the status, let you know it's 200, again, 404 or 500, or one of the other ones that are out there. So that you need to know that for troubleshooting. Also headers, okay, you may need to do that. Now this is what we worked on in our server.js file when we were using Helmet and that content security policy. You can see right here, image dash source self and the script self to CDN. So that's stuff that we added to our content security policy to enable us to use images from other sources, what have you. Other information that's here in the response, okay, that you may need to get access to for troubleshooting. I've had to do that a couple of times, had to just kind of dig deep inside of the response and the request to figure out how to fix a couple of things to get the data that I needed. We see that it's a get method. There it is right there. And we see the URL, the one that we sent. Okay, cool. All that's looking good. All the stuff that we need. And then here towards the end, where are we? Here's data. So there's response.data, and there goes the different powers with that whole object. All right, cool. So that works. So now we looked at that, I'm gonna remove that console.log. We don't need that anymore. So we got the powers. I got the power. So what I'm going to do here is same thing. I'm going to do a figure. So container row, see row dash calls dash one, row, I'll just do row dash calls dash two, row dash calls dash md dash 4. Yeah, do that. And then what we're going to do is we're going to say data dot for each. And I know before I was doing like for each hero. Here I'm going to stick to what I normally do, be a little more generic. Say for each item, so for each item, I'm going to make a column, and inside that column, I'm going to do, we could do, I'll do a card. This is going to be be a very bland card. But I'll do a card, give the class H-100, and I'll give it a class, I'll say power card. And then we'll do, make the card body right here. So card dash body, not void, body. And inside of there, I'll do, so I think the next thing I need to do is a H2, because I don't have an H2 for this. we'll have an H1, and this will be card dash title. And inside of that H2, I'm going to have item dot power. And then I'll do underneath the card body, I'm going to do a card footer. So I normally like to do HTML5 semantics when I do like card headers and footers. So I'll do a footer dot card dash footer. And here I'm going to make p tag. I'll say card dash footer dash text. And here I'll say click, and then I'm going to make a link right here. Right now I'm going to make it a dead link. Give it a class card dash footer dash link, and I'll say click here to see heroes with this power. And that's it right now. Okay, so that looks good. Again, what we're doing is we're going to take each item in the power in the data array and just display the power property. And then we'll have a link here that will take us to the power single. Okay. So when I come over here and I refresh, and there I see all of the powers. Now, obviously, again, this is just me getting stuff onto the browser. I want to get access to the data. I'm not concerned about the looks right now. Obviously, if I were going to put this up for production, there's a lot of different things I would do to this. Lot of different things I would do to this, but the focus is like, how do we talk to the database and get data from the database? Because that's all we're doing right now. How do we get data from the database and then have a display? We can do things with it. Because if we can get the data, then we can do whatever it is we want to do. Okay, so anyways, here we go. We have all the powers here that are listed in the database, and we have a link that will take us to the particular power. It's not going to do it just yet. We're about to work on that right now. All right, so here we go. Let's start off in our router.js because we already have power single. We have something there. Let's go to our router.js file. And what we're going to do is we want to use, let's see, where's power routes? So I have power routes up. I do. I want to use the find heroes by power. So I'm going to use this path right here. So that when they click on it, when the user clicks on one of the links, it will take us to localhost 3000/power/pow, and then power. That's what we're going to do. Or this is the API we're going to use. We'll have powers. Let's see, how do I want to do this? Oh, okay. I know what we'll do. Yeah, cool. I got it. Let's go back to router.js and let's set this up. We're going to say router.get, and this will be /powers/ and then we'll pass in the power right here, because there's not going to be a find by ID. We don't need to just pull up one power for this. Because right now this is what is going to be displayed on the browser. Okay. And so now we need the URL. So I'm gonna do the way I did it before. I'm gonna say const URL. It's gonna get http://localhost : oh, I need the ID as well. Pass in the port /API/power/PAL, and then we're gonna put power right here. Okay, so what is power? Power is going to be this right here. I'm going to say const power is going to get request.params.power. Okay, and that's going to take us to this particular URL. Then I'm going to say axios.get URL. Then take the response, and we need to response.render pages / power single. And here we go. The title is going to be power. The name is also going to be power. And then the data is going to be response.data. So I think this should work. All right. Now what we need to do is we're going to go back to our allpower.ejs. Okay. And so here we have our link. And what we're going to do for our link here, instead of this dead link, we're going to say /powers/ and then we need to add some EJS. We're going to say item.power. Be sure to close your EJS. I'm going to come over here and check to make sure that this is accurate. Okay. So I'm going to come over here and refresh. Currently, I'm at localhost 3000/powers. And if I hover over this link, I get localhost 3000/power/absorption. I think that's what I want. When I click here, and cool, it takes me to the absorption page. That's what I want. Right on. Okay. Now that I've done that, let's look and see what happens. Let's make sure that we're getting all the data. In other words, we're collecting all of the different heroes with this power. So to do that, let's come back over here to router. And I want to do a console. I'm going to console.log response.data. Okay. Refresh. And yeah, there goes all the heroes with absorption. Those only two we have. The Venoms. Okay, well, whatever. All right, so yeah, that works. So I'm getting the heroes with the absorption power. Okay. So now what do I want to do? I'm going to come over here to power single. And I'm going to make a container. I'm going to do a row-calls-1, row-calls-md-. You know what I'm going to do? What I'm going to do is I'm going to look and see what I have in my all heroes EJS. So this figure that I have here for all heroes, or this whole row, I'm just going to copy this because essentially it's going to be looking the same way. So I'm just going to copy this whole entire div, this row, going to copy that and paste that in my power single. And I can leave all this the same as well, because I can call it, for each hero, because that's what they are. I'm going to take each hero, make a figure for them. It's going to get their name and all that, see if they, if they have first name, last name, etc., etc. And then it's going to have a link that's going to take me to their single page. So if this works, I should be able to come over here and refresh this. And there I see the two heroes. And if I click on view more, it's going to take me to that particular hero. Cool. So let's try another one. Kites, because we didn't add him. Well, we have him in the table, but I don't think we've added his powers yet. And that's was it Kite Man? Uh it's so strange. So intelligence, click on intelligence, and we look at all the brainiacs here for intelligence. They're all listed here, and then we can click on a particular one, and there we have the single page. Cool. So that works. That's great. That's awesome. So we got our powers cooked up pretty well. Now what we're going to do is I'm going to pause the video, and we're going to go to the next one, and then I guess we'll do let's do species next. Species done the same way. So we'll build out species next. Yeah, that what we do next in the next video. So I will see you on the other side.